is sending out from the building.
faces. You guys remember that? Right? Literally. He took politics and started suggesting they should become violent. And then if you all remember Maxine Waters, she was up there screaming, you need to find Trump cabinet members, find them in restaurants, find them in, I don't know if Pete's back there. It'd be cut 4, Pete, if you're there.
And so let's stay the course. Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere. We've got to get the children connected to their parents. The children are suffering.
Fertile ground for public unrest, right? You have Obama telling people to get into people's faces. You have Maxine Waters calling for violence. And what did the people do? They protested. And this is going to be cut 5, Pete.
Our choice! No Trump, no wall, no USA at all. No Trump, no wall, no USA at all.
No Trump,
no Trump, no wall,
USA
no USA at all. Black and white, workers of the world unite. Workers of the world unite. Our streets, our streets, our streets, our streets, our streets, our streets, our streets. Palestine! Free Palestine!
Now here's a quiz for the listeners at home. When were those protests from? Obviously, you heard Free Palestine on there. That was recent. But I'll tell you, those protests went from 2018, and I brought you all the way to 2023. They sound the same, don't they? Whether it's Black Lives Matters, whether it's Free Palestine, whether it's trans rights, whether it's abortion rights, whether it's anti-Trump, anti-USA, anti-wall, same protesters, different costumes. These are the same groups of people, and who is organizing them? Is it Antifa? Is it George Soros? Is it Barack Obama? Who knows? But the point is, we have fertile soils for division in this country. Democrats are more than excited, more than happy to pour gasoline on the flames. And foreign governments, enemies to the United States, see this happening. And what are they doing? The same thing that we've done for decades. Well, let's create disunity in a country. Let's create instability. Let's cause a government to get overturned. That's what's happening in the United States. And if you don't believe me, look at what's happening in New York. Look at what's happening in Chicago. Look at what's happening across the country, but not just across the country, across the world. And the people that have been motivated by power-hungry Democrat politicians are more than happy to get in line and join this latest civil rights, they believe, a civil rights cause. Make no mistake, a free Palestine has nothing to do with gay rights. It has nothing to do with abortion. It has nothing. As a matter of fact, they want the people who want a free Palestine would just as quickly take all of those rights from everybody. And all of those protesters who are marching for black rights, or for the Black Lives Matters people that were marching for George Floyd, check this out. This is in Chicago. Cut 11. Black Israelites are out there supporting Israel. Do Black Lives not matter anymore? These are the people, these same people are protesting with the Free Palestine people. It's insane to me. I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I got a very special guest on the line, and we'll get to it right after this.
Are you an insurance agent or property manager looking for a reliable and accurate property inspection? Floridian Property Consultants specializes in citizens insurance packages and replacement cost appraisals, so you can get bound quickly, easily, and accurately. FPC's experienced inspectors will make sure each assessment meets all the insurance carrier standards while ensuring that you don't pay for more than you need. Work with a company that respects your time and budget as much as you do. Visit online at FloridianPropertyConsultants.com. That's FloridianPropertyConsultants.com.
Hey friends, David Pollock here. If you're craving the best soft serve ice cream around, Topper's Creamery's got you covered. Serving the Apopka community for over a decade, Topper's is known for the finest old-fashioned custard-style soft-serve ice cream in a variety of flavors, from their French vanilla bean to exciting specials like German chocolate cake. But the experience doesn't end there. Be sure to grab a fresh baked waffle cone or a sundae topped with my favorite, the fresh baked brownies. They even offer pup cups for your four-legged friends. So hurry in to Topper's Creamery in Apopka, South 512 Hunt Club Road. Make sure to tell them David sent you.
Welcome back to the final 15 minutes or so of the David Pollock Show. I think we got the audio all worked out at home here, guys. I think we're rocking and rolling. Thank you, Pete, for whatever you did, whatever magic you did back there. Real quick, I want to remind you guys that the David Pollock Show is fueled by Beard Vet Coffee. If you like all the energy that I have, it's because I drink Beard Vet Coffee. A portion of all their sales goes to benefit veteran organizations. So why not support them? I love their coffee, but they also have beard oils, tumblers, all kinds of great products. You need to go to beardvet.com and put in promo code David and save yourself 10%, because who can't save 10% in Bidenomics? We all need to save money, right? So that's promo code David, beardvet.com. Go get yourself some. All right, guys, we are going to get right into it with my special guest. His name's Hogan Gidley. He was the White House Deputy Press Secretary from 2019 to 2020 in the Donald Trump administration, and he's the press secretary of Trump's 2020 reelection campaign, and he's on the David Pollock Show. Welcome, Hogan.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate the time.
Oh, no, thank you so much for coming on. We are talking about everything today, and as I told you, so for the listeners, Hogan and I were texting. He's like, what are we talking about tonight? I said everything. But this show is on once a week, so I have to catch the listeners up with everything that's happened throughout the last week, and this might have been the craziest week news-wise that we've had in the longest time. I mean, between what happened in Maine, we have a new House Speaker, we have President Trump is in Iowa, we've had, I can't even tell you, the war and protests and
war, yeah,
it's insane. I mean, it's like I don't remember a time where so much was going on at one time. So we're talking about it all tonight because it's all happened in the last 7 days. And I'm so thankful for you to come on the show and talk about it with us.
And so much of it's bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like we have all these good things happen. You know, look at this great week, right? It's a lot of bad things that are happening. And, I have to admit, when I was in the White House, I wasn't really aware or cognizant of the fact that the policies that we put in place actually affected people as much as they do. And so when you have good policies, you have good results. You don't have wars breaking out all over the world, the Middle East in turmoil, Russia invading Ukraine. You don't have huge spikes in crime. You don't have an open border. You have a sane, rational economy. You have energy independence. Now you come in and do everything the opposite. It all falls apart. And Joe Biden looks around like all these things are just happening to him, like he has nothing to do with it, but it's all happening because of him. And so this week is seriously one of those times in American history where you have to wake up and go, wait a minute, who's in control? Who's asleep at the switch? You know, what's going on and why is this happening to us? And you don't have to look too far. I think a lot of the radical leftist policies, you were playing clips before. I was talking to someone about these college campuses, and someone said, hey, I can't believe what they're doing to these college campuses now. And I was like, now?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think these kids learn this? From their teachers. Where did the teachers learn this? When they were in school. And so if COVID gave us one thing that was good, it was a peek behind the curtain for parents to say, wait a minute, you're teaching my grade schoolers what? If there's one thing about this war that has really kind of opened the eyes of the American people, wait a minute, our colleges and universities, the billions of dollars they've been getting are going to teach our young men and women this? I tell you, I think if there's one thing the left hates, whether it's transing your kids behind your back in grade school or critical race theory or election integrity or what you're learning in college campuses, it's transparency. When everyone gets to see what's going on, they lose. So they do everything in their power to try and prevent people from taking that peek behind the curtain. I'm telling you, we're in a bad way right now. And I'm an optimist where I say, look, I think we're going to be okay because the American people are resilient and they're not going to let our rights be trampled on and they're not going to be let them taken away. But a lot of people have been fooled in this country by these radical leftists that portray their brand of Marxism and communism as freedom. It's not. And the quicker we wake up and understand that, the better off we'll be.
Man, let me tell you, I spent the first 3/4 of the show setting up all of this. Like I walked through all the different things that they were doing. And basically I'm sitting here like, sorry, I was getting feedback in my mic, in my headset. I'm sitting there like, this is what's going to happen, guys. This is what they're setting up. This is what they're going to do. And this is the way people are reacting to it. And you just came in and basically summed it all up and said exactly what's happening. And I love that. That was perfect. So good job. But yeah, exactly right. What's going on is you have all of this stuff that used to benefit the radical left. And now it's actually backfiring on the radical left. It's like they lit a match and they can't control the fire that's burning because all of these things that they use to benefit their elections, to benefit themselves, are now out of control. And I want to get your opinion on this. Do you think foreign governments, or at least foreign actors of some sort, are picking up on the fact that we have a very weak White House right now? We have a weak president that's asleep at the wheel. We have a lot of unrest civilly. We have a lot of people who pretty much hate America, and they've been trained to do it for Democrats' advantage. Do you think they're taking advantage of that right now and trying to inspire some of these anti-Israel protests throughout the country?
Oh, look, you don't have to guess whether or not they're taking advantage of it. Did Russia invade Ukraine when Donald Trump was president?
Nope.
Did the Middle East fall into turmoil while Donald Trump was president? No. And I'm not advocating for Trump here. I just want to be clear because I work for the man. I travel with him on foreign trips. I was in the room right across the table from President Xi. I was with Vladimir Putin. I was with Erdogan. I was with Bolsonaro of Brazil and so many different foreign leaders. Prime Minister Abe of Japan, who got assassinated. I mean, these are people who face serious problems and serious challenges in their countries. But they knew one thing with Donald Trump, and that was that they feared him for sure. A lot of them loved him, but they all respected him, and they knew he put this country first. So there was no ambiguity there. They understood when they were in a room with Donald Trump, when Xi decided to balk on a deal he had to buy a lot of our products, our farm agricultural products. He looks to me and says, "Go get Abe," and brings Abe in the room. And Abe in Japan buys all the things that China was supposed to buy. Right? They knew where Donald Trump stood. They knew he could make the deal. They knew he stood up with the American people for the American people, but he would work with them. It wasn't America alone, but it was America first. And so I witnessed this on the global stage. And when a president goes and speaks, it's not just the mainstream media that hears him. It's not just the American people that hears him. It's the world that hears him. And regardless of political party, I cannot stress this enough. When you go overseas, when you're engaged with foreign leaders here at home too, you want your president to at least look strong, at least to look as though they have the American people's best interest at heart, to look as though they have a grasp of the issues and a knowledge. We don't have that right now. And to ask, is the world paying attention to that? You better believe they're paying attention to that, because Russia and Ukraine, please, everyone knew what was going on there. The rest of the world's taking a look at America and her stance in the world. China could go after Taiwan, of course, all kinds of other issues. I mean, the 6 million people who come across this border illegally and unlawfully alone tells you that the people south of our border couldn't care less. And actually, well, that's kind of a bad example, because let's be honest, what they're doing on the southern border, the Biden administration is doing this by design. It's not by accident. They want this to happen. But I mean, the other people saw it. They knew what was going on, and they're taking advantage of this country. And we're in a weak position because of it. The domestic policy from Joe Biden is a disaster, but so is the foreign policy. And as I mentioned at the top, policy matters. It's wonky. I don't like learning the minutia, but it does impact people's lives, not just here, but all over the globe. And the quicker we get good policy in place from a good leader, the better off we'll be.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And I forgot, believe it or not, I forgot about the border. That's how crazy things was until you brought up. They apprehended, I think, 50 people, and these are the ones they caught, 50 people from terrorist regions. I believe it was Iran and Syria or something like that.
There have been 250 on the terror watch list since Joe Biden has been president. 150 in this fiscal year alone. The largest year Donald Trump had of a person coming across the border on the terror watch list, 6. So it's not a matter of if those people are going to commit an act of terrorism, it's when. Understand, if you're in this country illegally and unlawfully, any crime you commit, rape, murder, DUIs, burglary, arson, assault, it's 100% preventable, because you shouldn't be here in the first place. Now we have people coming across the border. The left will say, "But you caught them. See, it's 250, right?" But there are 2 million known gotaways that did not go through ports of entry, that slipped in, that aren't being processed. They're just out in this country. 2 million people. Okay, how many people are on the terrorist watch list through that number? You were just guessing. I mean, I'm telling you, this is a serious problem this country faces, and it's all because of Joe Biden. And the next president, whoever that may be, when there's a terrorist attack, I guarantee you, when they backtrack and figure out where that person came from, it was going to be across that southern border.
Man, I agree with you completely. Hogan, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm out of time already, because time flies when you're having fun. Are you maybe you'll join us on our post-show Twitter space there, so the listeners can get some more of your insight.
Yeah, and I tell you, I'll come on next time. I'll come on way earlier. I kind of got messed over with a live shot. I forgot.
Listen, you're a big deal.
I'm not a good scheduler.
You're a big deal, and we're honored to have you on the show. But thank you. And before you go, I just want to remind all of our listeners, if you want to hear more of Hogan, you have to check out the Line Drive podcast. It's fantastic. I've been on there. You have Tim Murtaugh.
Sure
you have Hogan, and I think is Sonny still on there with you guys?
Sonny's on there too.
Yeah, it's great conversations, guys. You got to check out the Line Drive podcast as well. Hogan, we'll talk in just a few minutes, and thank you so much for being on David Pollack Show.
All right, appreciate you, man. Thanks.
All right, guys, if you want to catch more from Hogan, we are going to have the post-show Twitter X space beginning at 8:30. Just go to @ThePollack on Twitter. That's @ThePollack. That space will start at 8:30. You can hear a lot more of this discussion. We're going to carry it on after the show. And thank you so much for sticking with us tonight. Sorry for the technical issues. We are working on it, and I still appreciate you guys tuning in every single week, and we'll do it again next week. Until then, guys, there is a lot of bad news coming around, but there's also good stuff happening every day. So look for that. And remember to tune in to the David Pollack Show. And we'll see you again, same time, same place next week. Take care, everybody, and happy Halloween. Have fun trick-or-treating, everybody. Good night.
It may be rough going just to do your For the 950 FM 94.9 WORL Orlando. The Answer.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. Authorities say a man in Colorado killed himself before he could carry out a likely mass attack. Lisa Dwyer has more.
A heavily armed man apparently killed himself rather than carry out a potential plan to shoot up a mountaintop amusement park in Colorado. The 20-year-old man was found dead at Glenwood Caverns Adventure Park Saturday morning before it opened to the public, apparently breaking into the park while it was closed. He was armed with an AR-style rifle, a handgun, and explosives, wearing body armor and tactical clothing. The sheriff's office said there was a message written on the wall of the women's bathroom where his body was found, saying, quote, "I am not a killer. I just want to get into the caves," although authorities could not say for certain that the suspect left the message. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
In the wake of the deadly attack by Hamas terrorists on Israelis October 7th, anti-Semitism is rearing its ugly head around the world. In Russia, an angry mob stormed an airport in Dagestan looking for Jewish passengers. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby says the video of the mob storming Dagestan's airport looking for Israelis is truly frightening.
A chilling demonstration of hate, bigotry, intimidation. Some people have compared it to the pogroms of the late 19th and early 20th century, and I think that's probably an apt description, given that video that we've seen out there.
Kirby says there have been no condemnation from Kremlin leaders, including Russian President Vladimir